What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So before we get started, if you would, don't even think about it. Just hit that subscribe button. I'm working really hard to get this content to you guys in an objective manner, in a quick manner. I want to be the first one that gets this stuff to you guys, okay? Because if you hear it somewhere else, someone's going to have this opinion and they're going to have that opinion. You want someone who's going to be practical and look at these things in an objective way as we proceed through discussing them, right? That's why you want to subscribe to this channel. Just a guy on my lunch break, okay? So do that. Now that that is out of the way, let's read this article that explains P. Diddy is now being accused of sexually assaulting a woman, then proceeding to hang her off of a 17-story balcony back in 2016. We're going to read about that and we're going to talk about that starting right now. On or about September the 26th, 2016, Sean P. Diddy Combs sexually battered Miss Bryana Bongolan, dangled her off of a 17-story high balcony, and then slammed her into the patio furniture on the balcony. This complaint was filed from the self-described quintessential starving artist and one-time Combs clothing designer of what happened to her in Ventura's luxury Los Angeles pad. This is in quote. His outrageous and abhorrent conduct violated Miss Bongolan's fundamental dignity, bodily autonomy, and sense of safety, according to the document. It goes on to detail the supposed attack that occurred at an apartment of Ventura's where Bongolan was staying with her girlfriend and the singer when an enraged Combs showed up pounding on the door. This event was the culmination of a series of threats, intimidation, and violence that colored many of Miss Bongolan's interactions with Mr. Combs from the day she met him. The September 26th assault ultimately proved that Miss Bongolan was correct to fear Mr. Combs, as this resulted in deep and lasting harm. The filing by Miller Bardones, James Nickrifter, where the hell do these people's names come from? Ads of the West LA set incident. Sorry, guys, these articles are written in very strange lingo. Mr. Combs threats that he was the mother effing devil and that he could kill her were intended to terrorize, intimidate, and instill fear. Therefore, when he forcibly groped her breast, dangled her from a balcony, and battered her, she reasonably believed that Mr. Combs' assault was him making good on his threats. If the suspending of someone from a balcony seems familiar out of the hip hop lore, that's because the likes of current jail. I'm going to skip this part. This is where I know a lot of you guys have probably heard the story where Suge Knight, who is now in prison, actually dangled Vanilla Ice off of a balcony back in the day, having something to do with his contract or whatever. Now, Vanilla Ice has come forward and interviewed on this particular instance multiple times and has denied it. He said that that never happened. He said that he absolutely was intimidated by the bigger, larger Suge Knight, but that he was never hung off of a balcony or anything like that. So that's an old wives' tale. That's a myth that that happened. Apparently, unless Vanilla Ice is just saying that it didn't happen because he didn't want Suge Knight to come after him. Either way, um, that's what it goes on to explain here. In this case with Combs, it is exactly the opposite, and for much more than money. As the page 17 complaint declares, the only purpose of dangling someone over a balcony is to actually kill them or to intentionally terrorize them and rob them of any concept of dominion over their own bodily autonomy and safety. It should be no surprise that is exactly what happened to Miss Bongolan. Taking into account that Combs has denied all claims against him, well, of course he did. Of course he did. There has not been one claim that has been levied against him so far that he was like, yeah, yeah, I did that. I did that. Yeah, that's me. Except for the one that he had no choice but to admit to, which was the savage beating of Cassie Ventura that was found on CCTV footage that was leaked out to the world. He didn't have a choice but to admit to that one, right? And then the apology he gave was just, I mean, cringeworthy if I've ever seen one. It's like, dude, there's a reason you're a music producer and a rapper, not a freaking actor, okay? Because I'm not believing one word of this apology, and no one else did either. So, so this continues. As we've shared previously, anyone has the right to file a lawsuit regardless of the evidence they may or may not have. Combs' attorney told Deadline in statement today about the case. Since last year, Ms. Bongolan has expressed an intention to sue Mr. Combs and has sought legal representation to pursue her claims. Mr. Combs firmly denies. Sorry, this thing ads are popping up as I'm reading it, so it put me to a different part of the page. Mr. Combs finally firmly denies these serious allegations and remains confident they will ultimately be proven baseless. He has unwavering faith in the facts and in the fairness of the judicial process. I wouldn't be so sure about that, P. Diddy. In court, the truth will come to light, demonstrating the claims against Mr. Combs are false and without merit. All right. So that's what the article says. So this is new. This is new. This article actually just came out yesterday on November the 29th. And I think this claim was made on the 27th, which would have been the day before Thanksgiving. So, so yeah. So Sean Diddy Combs is now being accused of dangling a young woman off of a 17-floor balcony. Okay? And if you are a person that would do something like this to another individual, this is not only something that, potentially could result in murder. Okay? Obviously, if you do something like this, you are you're right there. You're right there at being a murderer. Okay? But what I see when I look at it more than just that, the control and the need to have power and control over other people, the need to believe deep down in your being that people fear you, people are scared of you, right? I mean, it seems like every claim that is being levied against P. Diddy, everything has to do with him exerting control or dominion or power over other people, right? I mean, that's a scary, scary individual to be around, man. Somebody who has that sort of mindset where you are going to do what I want you to do. And if you don't, there will be consequences. I mean, there are no links to how far I will go to make sure that what you do is in alignment with what I want you to do, right? And then what's worse, it's been shown that what he wants people to do is absolutely not good for their own physical or mental health. Freak offs, people being involved in these elaborate freak off and sex performances, and women being forced to be gang banged by men, and just all this sickening stuff that he is being accused of. And now you hear something like this where he not only sexually assaulted this woman but hung her off of a balcony, you know? And listen, I just got finished saying that on here, you will get an objective look at these things. So, with that, I would be remiss if I didn't say this woman willfully admits and identifies herself as the quintessential starving artist at this time when this happened. Okay, says that she was a clothes designer for a short period of time for P Diddy, but willfully admits she's the self-described quintessential starving artist and one time Combs clothing designer. And then she talks about what happened to her. So again, another new charge being levied against Diddy. And what we have to look at and what the court systems are going to have to filter through in regards to all this, how much of it is true and how much of it is somebody who's a starving artist coming forward and making some sort of claim so that they can receive some sort of monetary damages. You can't help but think that when, listen, this supposedly happened in 2016, okay? It's almost 2025 right now. So you're talking about over 8 years ago that this took place, okay? Where was she in 2016? It says this happened September 2016, September 26th to be exact. Where were you at September 27th? You know, and of course, the argument to that, the rebuttal to that is going to be, well, she was scared. Obviously, this guy had been known to intimidate, make threats, instill fear in people. I mean, he was still trying to do it in jail, apparently, with witness tampering. I mean, this guy has been trying to exert control over everyone involved. This man looked at life like everyone was a chess piece. Everyone that he came in contact with was a chess piece that he had every right and ability to move at his own discretion so that they could fill whatever need, whether it be selfish or otherwise, that he may have had in that very moment, right? That's what you get from P. Diddy when you start looking at stuff like this, and if it is at all a fact that all of these things took place that these people are accusing him of, which I, you know, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, right? That's a court of law. That's not how the internet does things, okay? The internet does the opposite. On the internet, you're guilty as hell until a court absolves you, and then still will probably think you're guilty after that. The internet loves to crucify people before we know all the facts. That's just the truth. You know, you logged on to me for an objective viewpoint, okay? Now, if you logged on to me to see me just bash Diddy and this and that, now we're going to have a 15-minute bash Diddy session. No, you got the wrong guy, man. You know, I'm looking at this knowing and understanding that there are all kinds of people in this world. There are people like Diddy, money hungry, power, control hungry people, and they will do and manipulate and intimidate and harm, injure anybody that crosses their path that keeps them from possibly getting what it is they might want or they might need. Okay? There are people like that out there. I concede to that. But there are also people in this world, and I've talked about it ad nauseum on this channel. There are also opportunists out there. There are social piranhas that come, and when the opportunity is right and they've had some sort of interaction with a big star, we've been talking about this a lot with Conor McGregor recently and these sexual assault allegations. Same thing here with Diddy. There are people out there that exist that maybe he didn't ever do anything to, but they had some sort of association with him, whether short or long, quick or lengthy in the past. And now, years later, that he's in jail, all the heat's on him. All of these, all of these allegations are being levied against them. There are people out there that are sitting back now going, hmm, hmm, yeah. Remember that one time that back in September 2026 when when I was hanging out with Cassie and he got pissed off and was yelling at her and this and that. Maybe I can, you know, maybe I can twist that a little bit. Let me twist that story around a little bit, to make it sound like he did X, Y, Z to me, and then maybe I cannot be a quintessential starving artist anymore. Reserve your hate. All right, reserve your hate. Don't jump in my comments. You're full of shit. He needs to pay for all the depraved things that he did. Why would you get on here and defend blah, 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 blah? Shut your dirty mouth. I'm not defending anyone. And he could have very well hung this woman and dangled her from a 17-story balcony. That absolutely could have happened. And based on what we know about this individual, P. Diddy, that is, it would not shock me one bit if he did this as some way to intimidate this person, okay? But there is still a fact of life and a fact, especially in Hollywood, that there are people out there trying to make it, trying to claw their way to the top and trying to achieve financial freedom. And many of them will stop at nothing to do that. And there are people that will just flat out make up shit. Okay? And if you don't believe it, look at what's been going on with Conor McGregor. At first, everybody just had him completely pinned down. They thought he was a rapist, that he had sexually assaulted this woman. And as time went along and her story started to unfold, now, mostly what I'm hearing from people, including women, I might add, okay? Because anytime a sexual assault happens, usually it's women that step up real quick and like, nah, that's bullshit. He did blah 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 blah. I mean, I've had tons of even women come onto my channel and be like, nah, she's full of shit. She's lying. Connor didn't get a fair trial. This and that. So if you think that there aren't people out, I'm not saying this Miss Bongolan that claims she got hung off a balcony. I'm not saying that's her. I'm not saying that. I don't know her. But you don't know her either. She might be a conniving little, we don't know. So that's why, on this channel, I'm objective about these things, okay? Because it's one of those things where in a court of law, you might be innocent until proven guilty. On the internet, it's not that way. People assume you're guilty until you're somehow proven innocent. And then they want us content creators to get on and just drag people through the coals, go ahead and pin them to the wall, hang them up on a cross, crucify them, and then we all can just sit there and throw darts at them. Whoa, whoa. Maybe he did it. Maybe this chick's just trying to get paid. It was only 6 months ago that Alex Pereira, the light heavyweight champion of the UFC, was accused by this Meredith Brown chick who got on TikTok and rambled for like 25 minutes about this long, elaborate story about how Alex Pereira, brutally sexually assaulted her. Literally within 24 hours of her posting that video, she goes on and deletes every video, every accusation, everything of her mentioning that he did XYZ to her. She goes and deletes every bit of it. Nothing ever came of it. Why do you think she did that? She was freaking lying. That's why. She was doing it as a hopes to draw more people to her social media platform to give her more notoriety, more followers, whatever. And when it came down to it, and she cast that line out there, and her viewership went up by 30% during that day, she was like, okay, that's good. That's good. That's all I really wanted. You know? I mean, you don't think if you were anally sexually assaulted, as she described Meredith Brown, you don't think if she was sodomized and anally sexually assaulted in the way that she described, you don't think she would want him to be put away, to go to jail, to prison, so he'd never do that to another woman? Listen, there are opportunists out here that will do this shit. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So I'm not saying that this woman is that. She may not be, but we have to be objective. We have to be practical in this instance, because this has not been something that, this is something he's being accused of, but it's not something that has been proven in court, beyond reasonable doubt. But I just want to say, this shit just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for P. Diddy. I think you guys would all agree with that. But anyway, that's what I got. I'm not going to keep rambling on about it, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below, okay? Let me know what you guys think about it. And all of this stuff helps the YouTube algorithm, helps to push my content. That's what I really need. I'm working really hard, and I appreciate your guys' support every time. All right, love you guys. Have a good day.